guys, Urban Z here. Welcome back to a new YouTube video on the channel. We are once again working on the white boulder, the territory. Today we're just going to be doing some very basic things. We have some NGK iridium spark plugs. We have some headlight bulbs we're going to swap out, and some rear shockers because the ones that are currently in it are not that good and they make that clunking sound whenever you go over a bump. And we also have a front lower control arm that is on the way that we're going to do in this video as well, because the ball joint on the front left corner is pretty much done. So I'll show you guys that later, but yeah, definitely needs to be swapped out. But I think first things first, we're going to start with the spark plug, so let's take off that rocker cover. Or whatever you want to call this thing. Maybe not the rocker cover, but the place where the spark plugs belong. And basically to take this thing off, we have to do a few H5 bolts all around. But unfortunately we have to take off this portion of the air intake because there is a small bolt underneath there that we need to get to, and also we need to take off this thing. We need to unscrew the oil fill cap and this breather for the vent, for the crank vent. So I forgot to mention, we have a Ford badge now, so yeah. Okay, we just remove those screws. This should come off now. I'm gonna unscrew the oil fill cap, and we're just gonna plug it with a microfiber that's clean, just to make sure that nothing gets inside, because we don't want that. This one should just pull out the crank vent. There we go, just like that. And just feel these H5 bolts that we have to do here all around. That cover is now off. Now we have exposed the coil packs and pretty much the spark plugs. So we just got to unclip every single coil pack and then take them out, and then we should have access to the spark plugs. Now that's clean, we can start unclipping each one of these little coil packs. There we go, there's one. All those clips are off now. The only thing left is to pull each coil pack out. This can either be very easy or very difficult depending how well maintained your car is. So, let's see. That was actually pretty easy, very nice. Alright, we're gonna go one by one. So we're gonna take out the coil pack, obviously have a look. This one looks pretty good. Make sure there's no issues, and then get the spark plug out and then replace the spark plug. Something like this should work. You definitely need a uni joint for the Barra, because that last spark plug at the back there, you kind of have to twist it, because as you can see, the firewall is directly above it, so you need some sort of twist. But yeah, basically something like this. 16mm spark plug socket goes in, and pretty much just untighten them. It's pretty basic. Go back. Alright, we got it. Wow, that spark plug actually looks really nice. Not bad. Tiny bit of dielectric grease around the spark plug boot so that it never gets stuck and doesn't get that moisture and all that stuff. You want to make sure you don't get this on the actual metal contacts though, because it will affect performance. But yeah, that and a tiny bit here on the spark plug. Alright, first spark plug going in. Obviously you don't want to go too tight, but you want to make sure it's nice and tight in there, just like decently hand tight like that. And the coil pack going in. I'll have to give it a little wiggle, make sure it's nice and seated on that spark plug. And we'll just clip it in right now. Alright, 1 of 6 done. Other than this spark plug though, they're all coming out really good. Alright, we've done every spark plug. All the old ones are out, all the new ones are in. We just got to put on this cover once again. Alright, cover is back on. Let's chuck on that one. And let's chuck on this thing. Put on this little back cable here. That should be sitting on that as well. There we go. And we just got to attach that one. Alright, let's just double check, make sure it works. Perfect. I'm going to listen to that idle, make sure it's sounding good. Automatically already sounds better from a cold start, so very nice. Now that's done, we're going to put on these new headlight bulbs here. We've just got some H4s, just some general ones here. Do the job, so chuck them on. Pretty simple procedure. We just got to take out this this plug here, Okay, plug is out, and we take off this cover. There we go. And there's just these clips. This one you just have to push down, and it should just pop out just like that. Yeah, if I can grab it. There we go. Right, now the old bulb is out, we can install the new one, doing that little clip there, placing on the rubber grommet, and then finally just plugging it in. And the reason I'm replacing them, as one of the sides was very dim, and as you can see here, both sides are lit up, and we should be able to have good vision. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is do these rear shocks right here, so let's jack up the car. Right guys, I've taken out one side. I just want to show you guys the reason why I'm doing this, and the reason why you should always change the shocks out. This is the old shock, which I believe is the original shock, so I'm pretty sure that's the original tag there. So normally when you press the shock down like this, it is supposed to spring back up, and as you can see, that is not springing back up. And that bush right there has seen better days. Compared to our new shock here, if you guys can see, is raising, and when I push it down, it takes a lot more force to push this one down, but when I push it down, there we go, does what it's supposed to. So anyways, I'm going to show you the process of quickly swapping these out. First things first, the shock is right here, the original one. It is a 15mm bolt up the top here, and on the bottom of the shock it is an 18mm. Those will be the only two bolts you'll need to take this out. Quick recommendation to make your life easier if you're doing this at home. Get a jack and just jack up the rotor. Don't actually jack it up, just have your jack basically sit where the suspension is currently sitting, because when you take that rear shock out, the whole suspension is going to drop, and then you're going to have to either jack it up or, you know, kind of pull it to kind of line up with the same holes that the shocks are originally in right now. Pretty easy to access. Alright. Oh, and out comes the old shock. Right, we're going to place the new shock in now. Alright, I'm not going to fully tighten it because we still need to do the other end. With a bit of assistance of the jack here, just going a tiny bit higher, and we should line up directly with the hole right there. The next thing we're going to be doing is this front upper control arm here. So we're going to jack up the car, take off the wheel, and we'll have a look at what we're doing. Alright, now the wheel's off, we should be able to see our problem here. And our lower control arm, the ball joint has basically split, and all that grease is going everywhere, and there's no more grease to lubricate it, which is making a noise when it goes over bumps and stuff like that. It's 3 bolts, hopefully shouldn't be too hard. Luckily the kit that I got though does come with some replacement bolts, so as we take them out we'll be putting in new ones with the new arm. I've checked all the sizes. It is a 19mm bolt on that side, a 21 nut on that side, a 24mm socket for the middle one, and 21 for this last one. But it is coming out, which is lovely. There we go. bolts off. Now we just have to try and get the control arm off because it will be very seized. Try and get this back bit off first, maybe. Okay. Alright, that part's off. Now, this is the not fun part. For fuck's sakes. Alright, a lot of hammering later, and we have the original control arm off there. As I said, the old one is now out. Not looking amazing, and we have our new one here. Looking very nice and tidy. So we're going to try and slip that on and just drop those few bolts over there. Alright, all the bolts are now in, we just gotta do them up. And when doing these bolts up, the front suspension should be under load to ensure that the bushes aren't damaged over a short period and they last how they're intended to, as well as not make any noise. Right guys, so off camera I did a bit of extra work. I decided to get out all the injectors. I'll quickly show you them. Just to give them a clean because they are a little bit dirty. All the injectors have been cleaned now. And whilst doing that, I have pretty much taken out the whole fuel rail and the intake manifold. Given the surfaces a clean, given the throttle body a clean, and I'm just going to install a new intake gasket. There's not too much wrong with this one, but just think it's a good thing to do, and they're relatively cheap. But yeah, giving that a clean, looking nice and dandy. So I'm gonna put all this back on. Hopefully the car should be running extra mint now, and I might also just give the engine bay a quick clean whilst I'm at it. I'll do that off camera so I don't waste your guys' time. Yeah, it should be done with a bit of YouTube magic. And just like that, we have a clean engine bay, as you can see. Looking very nice and tidy. The only thing we have left to do is to give this exterior a fat clean up. Clean up everything in this car, the paint, the wheels, and make it look awesome. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. Thanks for making it to the end. Just let me know what you think down below in the comments, of course. Obviously like if you haven't already, and dislike if you didn't like it. But yeah, regardless, this thing's getting closer and closer to being done. Hopefully when it is done though, we will take it off-roading, do a bit of 4Bing, and yeah, just see how that Barra goes. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.